Today, we will be sharing our biggest and boldest predictions for 2024. Are we gonna get Switch 2 this year? I don't know. Maybe you know, maybe we know. Stay tuned and find out what we think is gonna happen.
This is the one we've been hearing from people for weeks now who have been anticipating this very episode.
Yes.
Last year we did this. We should say it is January 2nd.
It is
today.
January 2nd.
Time lock it in.
Time lock.
We did a pretty
calendar.
good. We did a pretty good job with
did.
our predictions last year.
Yeah, we
and
did
we are
23
back.
predictions for 2023.
Right.
And then at the very end of the year, we did like a big check-in to make sure that we were hitting these predictions. And we did really good. We got I would say an A on that, an A grade. So today we're going to be doing 24 predictions for 2024, and then at the end of the year, we'll do the same thing. We'll check in and grade ourselves and see how we do.
But yeah, this year's got some little wrinkles to it.
This year is
that make
a little
it
tricky.
A little trickier, I would say.
I think so too.
But I think we're up to it.
I think so too. I think this year is definitely feeling like a bit more nebulous than 2023. But yeah, that's what makes it fun, you know?
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how we do at the end of the year, and it's going to be a fun year to see what actually happens.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh, Happy New Year to you! We haven't seen each other.
Not seen you in quite some time.
In a few days,
Right.
in maybe a week or so. So yeah, we're back. We're here. Yay! So all that is coming up in just one moment. But before we get started, we want to thank our wonderful Patreon subscribers for making all of this possible. If you'd like to join us, we are at patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. We got so many lovely messages when we posted our little Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
From people that have just been so kind and tell us that they love the podcast, they love being part of our wonderful Patreon community. So those were really, really fun to read, and thank you so much. We so appreciate and we're so grateful for you guys.
Yeah, and if you're curious, there's kind of three main chunks of stuff you can get through our Patreon. First is access to our Discord, which is a great place where we're all hanging out and talking games all day long. Mm-hmm. Second is early access to stuff like this podcast and other videos that we do. And then finally, all the great exclusive content.
Yeah, and
like
there is
bonus
a lot.
Q&As.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, we're doing one of those today. Stuff you cannot get literally anywhere else.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, if you'd like to join us, we'll put the link here. But yes, we love them. They're the best. All right.
We did also, looking ahead to this year that we are now currently in, 2024. I told this to you.
Me?
2024, I'm okay with that being a year that we're in. Next
Why?
year being 2025, I'm not ready for that.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because it's 2025.
No, that
just feels like a long.
That feels like the far-flung future. 2025, well, we'll have flying cars by then, right?
Blade Runner?
Exactly.
2077 is when I'm going to get worried. 2077 is when I...
That's when I get my cybernetic implants.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's when I'm like, okay, well, I'm
this
a robot.
podcast
I'm
is
a
going
robot
up a notch.
now. I'm
that I
a
have
giant
a
hologram.
robot brain.
I'm a hologram. I'm living in a dystopian future. But 2024...
We did our top or most anticipated games of the year. That is a video that is out now if you'd like to see. Yes, we're going to be talking about things that maybe are not fully confirmed yet in our predictions, but there is a lot, especially in this first quarter, that is
confirmed.
set to come out, has dates coming out in
Yes.
That first game, Prince of Persia, is coming out in 10 days.
I'm so excited.
It's a lot to get excited for.
Yes, exactly. So that video is live now if you want to check that out. And then let us know if we missed anything. There's been a lot of comments for games that people are excited about on their 2024 list that we didn't know about. So we like to learn all the things that you guys are excited about too. So tell us.
I do need to confront you about something.
What already? It's been
yes. It's the first confrontation of 2024.
It's been 19 minutes since I have been reunited with you, and there's already a confrontation. What now?
In the video, in the thumbnail, you have an image of Paper Mario, which is great because Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is coming out this year.
Right.
It's a game we're both extremely excited for. Somebody pointed out.
Yes.
One of our intrepid viewers pointed out, hey, that's artwork from Paper Mario's Sticker Star. What's the deal?
You don't like the troll?
So I'm passing that along to you. What is the deal?
You don't like the troll? Come on now. It's funny.
But you're the #1 Thousand Year Door fan.
It's funny.
It's a troll. Okay. Good save.
Funny.
Good save. Got it.
Just holding a little mushroom sticker up. Different game.
All right. As always, please direct all complaints to
It wasn't a complaint.
Miss Krysta here.
It wasn't a complaint. It was an observation.
I see. It's just an observation.
It was an observation.
Yes. Less of a question, more of a comment. Got
exactly, that I can dismiss immediately.
And also, now that we are in 2024, you might be wondering, like, well, what's, are you going to be doing any tweaks? Going to be doing any changes? What's going to be happening on this channel? Yes, we are. We are not quite ready to roll out all of that stuff.
Just yet.
We got a few more little I's to dots and T's to cross.
Yeah.
And when we are ready, which should be sometime this month, I would imagine,
right.
You'll be hearing all about it, and
yes.
I think you're going to like it.
I think you're going to like it. We're really, really excited about it. I think this is going to be a really fun year for us, and yeah, we can't wait to kind of roll out some new stuff that we're going to be doing. But again, if you guys have any suggestions of things that you'd like to see, tell us. We want to know. We want to hear from you guys.
That's right. All right, it is almost just about time to jump into these predictions. But first, new year, new sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Notion. Thank you. Notion combines your notes, docs, and projects into one space that's simple and beautifully designed. You are the self-proclaimed
organizational queen.
Queen/overlord of organization.
This is so helpful. Like, we run basically a small business together.
We are literally small business
literally owners of
American heroes of industry. That is us, yes.
That's us. But what that means is that there's only 2 people doing all of the work that we need to get done, and we need all the help that we can get. So Notion is a great way for us to organize all of our documents, all of our files. We are able to connect and work together if we're doing something remotely. Like, we just have no time for any sort of difficulties in that area.
Right.
So having something that streamlines all of our, abilities to work together is really amazing.
Right, and there's a lot of other tools that are out there that have kind of a suite of things that you can do, but you're jumping between different apps to get between it all and get a little bit jumbled of, well, did I put it in this or do I have it in that? But with Notion, it's all just in one centralized hub.
Exactly, and it does things that's really cool. Like, we have, when we write, for example, outlines for our podcast, it can help you organize and summarize all of those with an AI assistant. So things like that makes it just so much easier for us to work very quickly and efficiently together.
Yes, the assistant will help you work faster, write better, think bigger, doing tasks that normally take you a long time, much more quickly. And did you know, over half of the Fortune 500 companies, that does not yet include us, are using Notion right now to make their workplace more efficient. And this is great. I mean, this is not just for businesses. You could be a person. I need to keep track of my stuff. We've all got stuff.
You got stuff
to keep track of.
Right. Life is hard to keep track of.
It happens. Right.
Yes.
So try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/kittenkrista. That's all lowercase letters. Notion.com/kittenkrista to try the powerful, easy to use Notion AI assistant today. And when you use our link, you are supporting our show. That's notion.com/kittenkrista.
And we'll put the link right over here and also in the description below.
All right, without further ado, the 24 predictions for 2024.
Yes.
Can I make a confession?
You have
we
more
may
than
end up
24.
we may end up with more than 24.
I think so. I think we have more. I mean, we're trying to categorize these. You have come up with a good organizational
Speaking of organization, so
for predicting,
I think last year, it was our first time doing it. We were a little bit.
We jumped around.
We jumped around a little bit.
Yeah.
And this year, I'm going to say, let's kind of do it in chunks. So the chunks are switch to announcement details.
Yes.
Because guess what? We think that's going to happen.
Yes.
Switch to hardware details.
Yes.
Switch to games. Nintendo, quote, non-games and entertainment. I love non-games. PlayStation, Xbox, and then just whatever else. If you've got something else, I'm not sure I do, but.
Yeah.
So this is a very Nintendo-heavy prediction.
Because I think the big rumored thing is going to change the course of the year.
Right.
Right?
I mean, I think PlayStation and Xbox will have great years, but
so too.
I think as far as, what we're going to be focused on and most excited about, it's going to be what's happening with Nintendo.
Yeah.
And frankly, a lot of you probably are as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, I've got about 90% Nintendo stuff.
Me too. I
today.
have a couple of little things for Xbox and PlayStation, but let's start with let's just start with the big elephant in the room and talk about the Nintendo Switch Deuces announcement details. What do we think?
Yes.
Do we think it's going to happen? Yes, but the details of how it's going to happen. What do you think?
Would you like me to go first?
I think we might have the same one. So go ahead.
What we do. So now I learned a valuable lesson last year because we get graded on these at the end of the year.
You'd be specific.
Do not
don't be too
do not
specific.
put two predictions in a single prediction because you can still mess up if you get one right. So I've broken this into two. First,
Yes.
Switch 2 will be announced in the first half of this year.
First half.
Right.
Okay. I said Q1 of this year. Which means January, which is where we're in now, February, March.
JFM.
JFM.
Of course.
JFM.
I think that's a good possibility.
Yes.
The one thing that I'm not a CFO.
Money.
Okay. The end of fiscal year happens in March. End of March is the beginning of a new fiscal year.
Yes.
I don't know where they would want this to be.
Right.
So if it does end up being in the second quarter of the year, I don't think it's going to be late. I think it would be early. But I do think that's
just for money purposes.
That's part of a conversation that they are having.
Yeah.
Of how does that impact, this business that we are running.
Right.
So I think I mostly agree with you, but I wanted to give myself a slight out because of that one little detail that was like,
Yeah, so I was thinking about that as well, and I went back. I'm also not a financial person, so I have no idea. Like a financial planner is who we need to talk to about this. But it feels to me, and based on patterns from the past of launching many hardware systems with Nintendo when we were there, it does seem like you want to kind of get these sort of at least an initial announcement out before the end of the fiscal year so that you can remain really strong with your shareholders, your stock and stuff is really healthy. Sure. People think great, you have a great year ahead.
I mean, if you announce this at the end of March, you're not making any money from it.
No.
It's not impacting your bottom line, really, but it's more of a perception thing.
And because they have shareholders, this is an important thing for them, I think, too. That they do consider. Nintendo does consider this kind of stuff.
And Nintendo did get a bit more concerned. Like when we started, there's shareholders, whatever. They'll be fine. There is a bit more thought.
There's definitely more now.
There's more thought given to the shareholders now.
Yeah,
and what they think, how they're going to feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've seen some people say they've got these games announced into perhaps the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That we have some games that are, still dateless, like Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And I don't think that impacts this announcement.
I don't think so either.
That's the normal course of a console life cycle for stuff to still be trickling out once the new thing is announced or even once it's out.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should read too much into that.
And we're gonna get into the hardware details and launch title stuff, but I do think it's gonna be, very much that situation where you're gonna have sort of two systems in the market, obviously, for a period of time.
Yeah.
And Nintendo is going to be supportive of those two systems.
Right.
And so these games that are announced that are, sort of just blanket 24 dates or whatever, I don't think it's going to be we need to wait to have all of these games come out before we announce the new console. I don't think that's what they're thinking
Exactly.
at all.
Exactly. Okay.
Good. So
Next.
we're generally aligned on there.
Next is my follow-up to the first one,
yes.
which is that Switch 2 will release before the start of the holiday season, and I'm defining that as September 1st. So it will release before September 1st.
I said summer.
Okay. That's probably what I'm leaning as well.
I think it's going to be in June, July, to be quite specific in terms of month. I just think that they're going to want to, we've been talking about this for a long time. I think they're going to want to ramp up that marketing in the April, May time frame. That just feels like something is happening. Then I feel like after they sort of do all of that, they will launch it in, either late June, early July. It's probably going to be constrained in terms of stock at the beginning, and people are going to be wild for it, and dealing with the situation of trying to get one is going to be challenging. Like us. Yeah, I'm just mentally preparing myself now. And then by the time the holiday rolls around, they would have fixed all of those issues, hopefully, and have a healthy amount in the market and ready for people to buy, and have a really strong, solid holiday season. They're selling it.
Yeah, I'm with you. It makes a lot of sense to do this before the holiday because there's always some kinks you got to work out, whether it's the supply stuff that you mentioned or something else about like, oh, we got to get this big update out to get this functionality that people expected.
Yeah.
And yeah, managing the stock is a very tricky thing.
Very tricky.
So don't just dump it all out there before Black Friday, and it's going to sell out. It would have sold out whenever you dropped it.
Exactly.
So be
it
a bit
always
more.
Sell out. Even systems that like later on don't sell well.
Right.
That launch window of
That'll always sell.
3-month launch window, you're guaranteed to sell out.
Right.
So there's no need to worry about like, oh, if I do it at this time frame, it's not going to sell out. That will 100% not happen.
Right.
So.
And with the original Switch, let's see. So it was announced in October and it came out in early March. So that's like I think it was a little under 5 months.
Yeah.
Was the window.
Yeah.
And I think they could even do it tighter, with a tighter turnaround if they wanted.
And I think that kind of leads into what we think the hardware will be. But I think that they won't need as much time to explain this to people. Wii U to Switch jump was pretty huge.
Yeah.
Like huge different form factor, all sorts of things that were, different from those two consoles. Now we're going from Switch to, I'm just calling it Switch 2 for now. But I think it is going to be an easier step to like get people to understand what a Switch 2 is and what why they should buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have as far as the announcement.
Me too.
Okay, great. So let's get into some of the details of what we think this hardware is going to be.
Yes.
I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but when I think of what the Switch 2 will be, in terms of the upgrades from the original Switch, I think it will feel, comparing it to a previous jump in generations, I think it will feel most like DS to 3DS.
I think so too.
Where,
my line is basically, Switch 2 is basically the same as Switch, just with more power.
Right. So thinking about DS to 3DS, you still kept the 2 screens. Yep. Which was the main proposition. So in this case, it's still going to be a hybrid handheld thing that you can somehow dock it into your TV.
Yeah.
But 3DS did add some interesting wrinkles to that along the way that were not absolutely essential in changing up what this was.
Right.
But did add a lot of flavor to the experience. Like Street Pass is a great example.
Yeah.
Of that did not fundamentally change the DS/3DS concept, but it was a great thing that people are now very fond of. So I think we'll get a lot of things like that.
Good. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's going to be very sort of like in terms of hardware specs and like form factor stuff. We're not going to see like a totally new form factor. We're not going to see like this crazy thing that doesn't look anything like a Switch and functions completely different. I don't think that's it. I think it's going to be obviously more powerful. Maybe there is more efficient ways for you to connect it to your TV, for example. Like there's some quality of life stuff that they do. I do hope that with more power, they do add some of those like personality things back in, like a Street Pass or like
folders and themes.
Not folders and
themes.
themes.
Thank you. Yes.
No, but like some little cute little things that are not just as Switch is pretty bare bones.
eShop music. Here we come.
eShop music.
Big upgrade.
Yes. I would like to see Street Pass or some kind of fun thing like that come back. Maybe there's a brand new thing that they're thinking of.
Something in that
realm.
Yes.
Add a little personality to it.
Little Nintendo,
bland.
Sprinkle some Nintendo magic onto this. Yes.
I think so too.
Okay, great. Wow, we're very
Simpatico?
on the same wavelength so far here.
I have more stuff.
Next, I spent a lot of time thinking about backwards compatibility.
I did too.
And how that might get handled or not. And I came to the conclusion that if this is what this system is going to be, a next iteration of the Switch concept, that they really do need to keep backwards compatibility.
I agree. I put the same thing down. I said there will be backwards compatibility.
But, and this is something that people have been chattering about, I do think they go the route of 2 models.
Oh, we're differ here.
Now, I think, so let me finish mine and then we can get yours. I think that both models will support digital backwards compatibility. So if you have a game from the eShop, this is great for you. So if you have an eShop game, you can play that on either version. But I think the higher end version will have the physical cartridge slot.
So like a PlayStation 5 model, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, Nintendo is always very conscious of the price of their system. It's not like Sony where it's like, whatever, it's high end. People will pay what it costs.
Yeah.
They are conscious of being for the masses, for everybody. So, and it's just kind of natural that the prices of these things
are just going to keep going up.
Keep getting more expensive.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I think for a lot of reasons, they like the option of having the lower end version out there so they can say, hey, it only costs $300. Starting at $300 versus starting at $400. It's a big difference in people's minds of like, can I afford that? Can I get that? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think in a lot of ways, this solves this problem that they have in their mind of like, yeah, we've upgraded the power, but it now costs a lot more, and have we kind of messed up our, the markets that we are now available to? And with this game card slot, I think the people who want that are the people that would want the full premium experience and would be willing to pay for that. I think there will probably be some other things that differentiate those two systems as well. But I think in terms of
storage and things like
solving the backwards compatibility problem, I think that's how they will do that. Now you differ from this.
I differ.
Please tell us.
From this completely, actually.
Okay.
I do think that it will have backwards compatibility. I don't think there's going to be multiple SKUs. I think that they are worried. I totally agree with you that they do have this idea of like, we are for the masses, we are very accessible in terms of price. When we were there at Nintendo, we definitely had a lot of discussions about price and how we communicate price and what that all means. So that is something on their minds. But I think the thing that is even more scary to them that they don't want to mess up is they don't want to confuse anybody. Like they're just really scared of having so many options out there that it might confuse the end user. And especially when it's very similar to the Wii U generation, where you're going from something that did very well, and you go to something else, and you want people not to be confused about what the differences are between the two things. They obviously won't have the problem that they did with Wii U, from Wii to Wii U, where people just thought the gamepad was an accessory for the Wii U. They won't have that problem, but they will have other problems where people are like, well, what is the reason why I'm getting this new thing, and how is it different from what I currently have, and is it worth it? So I think they're going to be very focused on communicating that, and so I think it's going to be one SKU. I think it is going to be priced a bit more premium. My estimated price for this is $399.99, so they're going to keep it right under the $400 mark. But they've been selling games for more expensive. I think that there is now more just people are more not accepting. I mean, I don't want to pay $400, but like people are more, I think, understanding that like things just cost more now. Games will cost more. These things will cost more. So
that would mean that Xbox has the lowest priced system on the market.
But it's not the newest one. It's not the newest one. You want a new thing? Guess what? It's going to cost some money. So
I agree with literally everything that you just said. But this was not a prediction of mine, but I think just a general feeling I have is, when the Switch was coming out and we were learning about it, and when things were starting to release, like that was Nintendo at the absolute top of its game.
Yeah.
Really, being a bit desperate in terms of we need to make this work.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the Nintendo we have now.
Right.
So I think they might backslide on some of the things that they were really on top of with the Switch. Because,
Yeah, that's true.
with the Wii U, we did have two versions. Didn't go great.
Did not go great.
But we do have the proof points of now Xbox and PlayStation have multiple versions, and they seem to be doing all right with it. Yeah. So there are two.
There are two sides.
There are two takes on that, but I think, with Nintendo being very uncompromising with the original Switch of like, no, we have to do it this way, or this could be a huge failure and we can be in big trouble.
Yeah.
I think they're like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, they definitely have more confidence now. Right. They're in that era.
The more arrogant Nintendo.
More arrogant.
Of like, people will figure it. People will just buy it. People will love it.
Yeah.
Because you just said they don't have to do as much talking, explanation. People know what the Switch is. They'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Give us the money.
And people will buy a Switch with more power at a higher price point.
Right.
People will buy it. So either way, people are going to buy it.
People have been asking for this for years.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah. We don't know how many people.
Did I change your mind?
No. I still think it's going to be one SKU. I think they're done with the multiple SKUs. I think they don't like it. Honestly, they do not like it. But anyways, we will see. We will see.
So then backwards compatibility then is solved how in your mind?
Everybody has it.
The slot, whatever physical and digital.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Physical and digital. I don't think they're going to get rid of that little cartridge.
Great.
Slot.
Leave it up to some engineer to figure it out.
I don't think they're going to change the way the cartridge looks or anything like that. It's probably going to be, unless they need to jam more stuff into
It's not
going to
be UMDs.
Maybe it is UMDs.
Okay.
It's not UMDs. Yeah, and I also think it's going to be compatible with existing controllers, like Joy-Con and stuff will be the same. Like you can use a Switch Joy-Con. You can use a Pro Controller.
Did you have anything in here about, it looks like you have many more hardware predictions than I do.
I just told you all of them.
Oh, that's all of them?
Yeah. The price, one SKU, compatible with all existing controllers. Basically the same form factor as Switch, but with more power, backwards compatibility. And I did say that Switch, we talked about this, but we think that there's going to be this transitional period where both consoles will get support.
So you think the Joy-Con is just the same thing that carries over?
Hopefully the left one works now.
It's the same Joy-Con?
I think
There's
so.
not like a complete rethink of what the Joy-Con is.
I don't think so.
Okay.
They might do like a special version of it where like maybe the grips are a little bit like I've seen the
it's a little bigger.
The mocks where it's like it looks more like a handle. They might do like one additional type of Joy-Con, but I think your old Joy-Con will work.
Okay.
That might be a way for them to justify a higher price point. It's like, well, the original stuff still works. You don't need to go on because Joy-Con
comes without Joy-Con. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God, no.
That would be so ridiculous.
No. Oh, don't do that.
That's how they save money. Remember when they started like, well, we're not putting a power plug in there.
A power plug, yeah. I was like, why?
Oh, this is new.
This package is very small because there's no power plug.
All right. Okay, so I actually didn't have anything else on hardware either. I think I have the most on games.
Yeah, I have some game stuff too.
So this one,
we definitely have this one.
I mean, we've been saying this for like a year. Mario Kart 9 will be the key launch title for Switch 2.
Yes. Mario Kart 9 is going to be the launch title for Switch 2.
Right.
And it's going to come out in the summertime. It's going to be like July. You get your Mario Kart going. It's all summer vibes all day. It's going to be great.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for months.
She's very quiet, Yabuki-san. I know what you're doing over there.
You're
quietly working on Mario Kart 9.
They've had the time.
Yeah.
They have the resources.
They've been left alone. They have not been distracted by
Mario Kart 8 is a juggernaut. They've kept it on people's minds with the booster
They absolutely
pass.
did exactly the right thing.
So, yeah, I think this is a fantastic launch game for them to get things started.
Yes, it's
going
to be great. What other big games do you have?
So, the question of EAD Tokyo, the Tokyo team, the Mario Odyssey team, is a big question. And I've seen kind of two diverging schools of thought from this. It's either they're making, the next 3D Mario, or there's the rumor of they're making a Donkey Kong game.
No.
I have a suggestion that I have not seen yet.
What?
Of what happens.
Yes, tell me.
They are making a new 3D platformer starring Mario and Donkey Kong together.
I can see that.
Can you imagine that?
Freaking amazing.
And it's like you can switch between them. They have different powers. Like Donkey Kong's strong. He's powerful. He's busting through stuff. And Mario's a bit more agile, jumping around.
In the Mario movie.
So listen.
Think about that scene.
Now listen, it's going to be a big year for Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
They need to do things to support Donkey Kong, or this is like malpractice of giving these partners what they need. But I think they need to do a bit of work to elevate Donkey Kong to where it needs to be.
Mario.
So that's why we need to attach Donkey Kong to Mario. Of like, people may not understand the inherent coolness of Donkey Kong, or people.
It's just kind of a nostalgic thing from the past.
Right. We'll get them in with Mario. Make Donkey Kong kind of the star, and then from there we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. We got it. You know. So I think this is kind of the mentality of like we need to elevate Donkey Kong, and we'll get him there, and then eventually he'll be able to carry stuff on his own. Yeah. But he needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, I agree. Because
you like this idea.
I love this idea. I'm so jazzed about this idea. So jazzed. Because I think back to, Nintendo is also thinking very like, this is the 3 pillars of our business. We talked about that a lot when we were working there, and I think they're still like very in it.
Right.
Where it's like, games and, you know, their first party games and then the entertainment stuff and then like, you know, like all of the you know, licensing stuff and like how they do this like cycle of getting people in is very connected. So I think back to Mario and Donkey Kong's relationship in the movie and how that was a big deal.
Right.
They made a big thing about having that sequence where they're going through a 3D course together.
Right.
We think about the opening of Donkey Kong in Super Nintendo World and having to make sure that that is very, quote, mainstream.
Right.
You know, because that's going to be at a place where it's a lot of people that may not remember Donkey Kong from, you know, unless they're thinking about the SNES days or something like that, or even the original Donkey Kong. I had my list that a new 3D Mario game is coming this holiday season from EAD Tokyo.
Okay.
I love the idea of having that game include Donkey Kong, but they're cooking something really good at EAD
Right,
Tokyo.
it'll be great.
It's going to be amazing.
So my prediction is just that this will be announced. I do not have a prediction for when it will be out, but it will be
their holiday
announced this year.
It's their 100% their holiday game.
It just makes this is how you can play co-op in this game. That
Yes!
They have been on this pattern of every game
love this!
changes up the formula in a really big way. Last time you had Cappy.
I love this. I'm so in.
I'm pretty excited.
Maybe like there's like worlds where you're in like the Kong jungle.
Totally.
Yeah, I love this idea.
Good.
I'm in. I'm in.
So your prediction was EAD Tokyo game will be the big holiday game.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Metroid Prime 4. The elephant. How many predictions have we done where we talk about Metroid Prime 4?
I have been right about Metroid Prime 4 for like a year and a half now, guys. I'm just putting that out there. I have been very right about this.
My prediction is that we will see it this year, but it will not release this year.
Oh, I have it releasing in October.
Okay.
I think it's ready. I think they're very quietly
All right.
picking it. It's been
It's been a long
4.5
time.
years.
It's been a long
What are
time.
you doing?
Right.
You have it. You have it. They're done with this game almost, probably. I think it's going to be an October game for them, so it's going to like kind of kick off the holiday release calendar, and that's
Well, then where's this EAD Tokyo game go?
Mario game can go.
That's
in
in
that
November?
time from November.
All right.
Yeah, like they're like big, like sort of Thanksgiving holiday title. Or Metro could go even a little early in
All right.
September, but I do think these two games are going to like anchor their holiday lineup. They'll have something for like the quote core gamer.
Yeah.
They'll have, you know, and Metroid does well in that like kind of creepy time frame, like because it's going to be a little
That's
bit.
true.
It's going to be a little spoopy, I think. And then you got your big Mario plus Donkey Kong title, you know, coming for the holidays for grandma to get, you know, little Timmy. So I do think that's what that's going to look like. Yeah.
My thinking, a little bit more on my thinking was, I do think they learned from Switch having that first year being so packed and really hooking people in on the system that way. So I think they're looking, obviously the holiday is a big opportunity for them, but I think they're looking at it beyond the holiday of like, you know, a first 9 months or first 12 months, the launch year. And I think they feel like, well, we'll have something great for the holidays. The hardware will still be new. There'll be a lot of excitement, but we need something for kind of the first quarter, the first half of the year that is also big, that will get people excited.
Yeah.
And that will continue the quote steady drumbeat of games coming out. So I think that is what will happen with Metroid Prime 4. Well, they'll show it like, yeah, it still exists. Here it is. Looks great. And it's coming. And you waited this long. What's another couple months?
Oh my gosh.
Just keep waiting.
They're not going to have, they can't do that. They cannot do that.
But do you agree with that point, though? That
I
they're
do
thinking
agree.
beyond just the holiday?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do think that they are in the business of wanting to extend, as we saw with Switch, extend console life cycles for as long as possible. So they're going to launch this new thing. They want to milk like 7+ years out of it, too. So they're definitely thinking very long term about, you know, how to support that with software. But I think that they are also very focused on, like, they know that in that first few months, you know, of your new product announcement, you do need to, like, put your best foot forward. I think they learned that lesson. We learned it very, like, harshly with Wii U. Obviously, Nintendo is not in the Wii U era, so they probably won't be as terrified of that. But they also saw it work so well with Switch. You know, that first year set Switch up for success for the rest of its life.
Yeah.
It's like the best foundation you can build for it is having this like massive, you know, amazing first year where people are like, I'm so in on the system. I'm gonna be in until you stop supporting the system. So yeah, I think they're gonna come out like guns blazing on this. And there's been a lot of games that they've been very quiet about that's been announced that, you know, that they just have been holding. I think they're just like literally like banking it away for this moment. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
I have a Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild prediction for this as well.
Okay.
I think there's going to be some sort of dual pack bundle.
Yes.
Better graphics. There's no DLC, we know, for Tears of the Kingdom, but obviously they need to have some kind of Zelda representation on this new console. And I think it's going to be some kind of like deluxe dual pack thing with upgraded graphics, you know. Maybe there's like some little add-on here and there.
Some little bonus thing.
Some bonus thing.
Yeah.
But it will be, you know, because we're very far now from another, like, the next Zelda game, they need to have a stopgap and have something there to represent, like, their other, like, third key franchise.
Right.
So that's what I think it is.
So I have that in a bigger... So my prediction is remakes and HD updates will be an important category of game for Switch 2.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be one of them.
Right.
I have 5 games, and I think out of this 5, 3 will be announced.
Okay, wow.
So
this is some math
it's
here.
kind of, and I have that with third-party games next. So here are the 5.
Okay.
And for me to get this right, I need 3 to actually be real.
Okay.
The Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom 2-pack that you just mentioned.
Uh-huh.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country Returns, the Wii one.
Okay, that gets... I see. Well,
that has not had an HD version yet.
That's true.
That's been on the Wii and the 3DS.
and if we want to make Donkey Kong a thing,
Right, we need more Donkey Kong stuff.
And they can remaster that
I
one.
would love that. I think I like that one better than.
good
I think I
game.
like that one a little bit better than Tropical Freeze, actually.
I love Tropical Freeze. I love all of them. They're good. They're great games. Anyways, I'll totally play it again.
F-Zero GX.
Oh,
The
here we go.
GameCube F-Zero.
Now they've warmed up.
They've done the warming up.
They've warmed us up.
I'm so warm.
So hot for
The
F-Zero.
next one is one that a few people in the Discord keep banging the drum about. And I'm like, yeah, that could happen.
What?
Fire
Emblem?
Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. Localization team, get on that name
Get on
ASAP.
that name. Yeah,
We can't go with that name. We can't use that anymore.
Just
but
redo Awakening. HD Awakening.
it hasn't been long enough for that.
Why not? It's the best seller.
And then my last one is the one we've been waiting for, Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, they
So-
got to put that. They got to remaster.
So again,
that.
that's 5 games that they could remaster or do HD versions of.
Yeah.
4K versions.
4K
I think
versions.
3
yep.
of those get announced.
Yeah.
Again, not out. Announced.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
But
There's definitely going to be some remastering.
I think that will remain a big pillar
Yeah.
of the Switch. Of like, hey, remember these games? They're back and they're better. They look nicer.
Maybe that's why the.
I love that.
I love that too.
I love that.
Maybe that's why we have not seen Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Maybe they're holding.
We're
it
not.
for this.
Do you have a prediction about those? If not, don't mention those games.
I'm just saying maybe they have.
Don't talk about it. I'm sick of talking about those games.
Maybe it'll come out for this though. Maybe they'll remaster it this way.
Do you want to make it a prediction?
Sure.
Wow. Okay.
They need Zelda stuff. They don't have it.
Would you like me to follow that up with my third party?
Oh, I have a third-party one too.
Oh, go ahead then.
Mine is very general. It just says that we do have big third-party publisher support, and maybe
That's it?
Maybe EA is back.
Oh, EA is back. I like that one better.
I'm going to say
Unprecedented partnership?
that unprecedented, reunited.
Oh, wow.
We're rekindling our love with EA. We're heading off to a trip together. We're going to like Hawaii with EA. It's gonna be great. We're gonna get cozy by the fire.
Okay.
Romantic. Yeah.
I mean, it could certainly happen.
Yeah. What is yours?
So I have another one where I think 3 of these 5 games will get announced
Okay.
for the Switch. Elden Ring. Maybe including the DLC, depending on when that comes out.
Oh my
in
God.
one pack, Game of the Year edition. Final Fantasy VII,
Oh!
the remake or the rebirth, depending on how they want to package those. That's been rumored.
It's very dicey.
That's already been
It's
rumored.
very dicey. 2 discs. You have 2 discs.
Baldur's Gate 3.
That's possible.
Cyberpunk 2077, a game I'm
Possible.
currently playing and loving.
Possible.
And you know, Ubisoft wants in on this. Some sort of current Assassin's Creed will
like
be coming out.
trilogy or
Ubisoft
something.
will jump on any new platform.
They will. They
are good for that.
They are. You don't need to try with them though. They're like a sure thing.
So all of these studios had games on Switch.
Right.
So from Software, we had Dark Souls.
Square Enix, obviously.
I mean, maybe
not
not.
their current stuff, but they did the Pixel remaster.
Right.
They had remastered other games. Final Fantasy VII is on Switch.
Baldur's Gate 3, they had those Divinity games that people loved on Switch. I should check those out. Cyberpunk, we did get that version of The Witcher.
We did get the version.
They did themselves.
That you really liked.
I love that version.
Yeah,
yes.
you really liked.
And then Assassin's Creed, yeah, we've had that. And again, Ubisoft's gonna be all over the Switch
and
too.
Ubisoft is gonna be all
over.
We don't need to try. Ubisoft is like a sure thing.
And these are also games that are just kind of perpetual high sellers on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, people like having these handheld. There's a lot you can do to tinker around in them. They're infinitely replayable. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense to bring those over and just kind of continue that on another platform. So I think generally there's a lot of interest and excitement among third parties. I agree with you there. I think, you know, we'll be in that phase where a lot of current generation games can still come out on the Switch 2, and there will be kind of a period of time where that will be a thing, and we'll be seeing more of those. Eventually that will probably trail off, unfortunately, depending on how powerful this thing is.
Right, it won't maybe not be able to match up to...
But I do think it gets out of the gate with a bang with third parties. I think there's a lot of interest.
And I think there's going to be like a lot of very like high-end titles like Baldur's Gate, like games that have won Game of the Year, like very prestigious.
And obviously there'll be original games too that we don't know about yet.
Yeah,
but I think there's a rich catalog of games that have been sitting like, well, we can't bring these to Switch yet.
But we can now because the power is there.
And like again, Steam put out, you know, their sales info for the year, and like a lot of these are not like the newest games, but they just continue to sell.
Yeah, and people want different ways of playing these games too.
Right.
So I think that, you know, having that like handheld option for some of these games is really attractive to third parties.
Yes. And to me.
And to me.
And to me. That's what matters the most. Okay.
But EA though.
Next, what you got?
In Nintendo Entertainment.
Oh, I have one more. I have two more games.
Okay, then tell me the two more games.
You have not said peep about Pokemon.
So
nothing about Pokemon. Last year we had a lot of Pokemon predictions.
Yeah, they need to.
I
was like kind of surprised.
I was really surprised.
I was in a different Pokemon mindset.
Wait a minute, what?
Year. This year I'm like, I need them to lay low.
Right.
I need them to just chill out and just like not overdo it, because we know what happens when they overextend themselves.
Right.
So I'm hoping for like a bit more limited.
Right. So you can see it right there. I do think it'll be a lighter year for Pokemon.
Good.
But I think they will have a game coming out this year, and that will be a remake of Pokemon Black and White. The next remake for them to do.
The Tepig?
But it's in the style of Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, which I honestly didn't love those. But this will be announced at Pokemon Day. Remember that? That's coming up next month.
Yeah.
And it will launch on both Switch and Switch 2 this holiday season.
Okay. So they might announce it for original Switch.
So depending on where they are with the, you know, announce it first just for Switch and then later confirm it for Switch 2.
Yeah, they could do that.
Because it's so big, you know, Pokemon is so big, it's like if we're going to do that, we have to have it on the Switch 2.
Right.
And we can sell a lot on the original Switch
Right. And that's a good way to support the original system.
This is not, we are not, you know, putting the fires to Game Freak to churn out another giant game. They have more time to work on whatever.
On the next one, and that might take a bit of time. Maybe it's not next November kind of thing.
Sure.
But give them
take as long as you take the Metroid Prime approach if you need to.
Seriously, like take 4 years.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Do it, please.
Honestly, we don't want another bad game.
Yeah, I mean Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon.
They have a lot of bad.
Pokemon Day is in about a month.
Yeah.
So it is reasonable to consider. Because they have made that their big annual announcement platform.
Yeah, and they like to do it themselves too with the hot CFO guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's going to be
maybe he can come tell us about a fiscal year.
Yeah.
And other things.
He can tell us how that works. With his hotness.
Well, running his fingers through my hair, he can tell me about a fiscal year.
That's so enticing.
Okay. My last switch to software prediction.
Yes.
Most first-party Switch 2 games will be priced at $70.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Not a fun one, but I
That's-
do think it's.
I just think the
what will
price
happen.
of everything is going up next year, unfortunately. So it's just what
Yeah.
kind of, unfortunately, like that is what it is. And
Yeah,
it
games are
sucks,
becoming more
but
expensive to make.
harder to
Obviously,
make,
it's going to
yeah.
become more expensive for Nintendo to make these games on new hardware, which are going to be more complex and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
bigger and require more resources than they needed before. And
Mm-hmm.
we tested the waters with Tears of the Kingdom. People,
Were mad, but
people
still
were
bought it
initially mad,
anyway.
but they still bought it.
because they always do.
So
yeah.
I think this just becomes the standard for not everything.
Yeah.
I still think there will be smaller games that you
have
get
a
at a lower
different
price
price
point,
point,
but I think
yeah.
for, we talked about this EAD Tokyo game, whatever that's definitely $70. And
yeah.
for the quote big tentpole Nintendo releases,
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be $70
yeah,
as well. So,
all at $70. Okay,
yeah.
we're out of the world of Switch 2.
Whew.
45 minutes into this podcast.
That's like a lot of predictions that are very specific. So I don't know. I'm feeling still very confident.
Yes.
But yeah, like this is like these are we're not just like, dancing
Yeah.
around this. We're giving you very
Okay,
specific.
I
things.
have 3
Oh, me too.
non-gaming / what was it? Entertainment.
Nintendo Entertainment
Yes.
is what I had on this
Okay.
category. Mm-hmm.
I will go first.
Okay.
The Nintendo Museum, remember that?
Yes.
Will open to mixed reviews.
Because they don't actually have things to put on display because
No.
it's someone's desk.
No, I think they do. So this is an entirely new venture for them.
Mm-hmm.
This is an area where they have been a little apprehensive
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah. They've been a little flippant in the past too because they just don't seem to be
Right.
very
They have not always seen the value
of their own
of
history.
celebrating their
Yeah.
history.
I agree.
So I think, at first glance, this will be, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful building. There's Nintendo history in the building. It will look great, but I think it may feel
Like the meat of
slightly
it.
empty
Yeah.
after going through it.
Yeah.
And I think they may need to get some tough love on the content of this museum to
Mm-hmm.
make it as good as it can be. It may feel a little bit like a commercial for Nintendo versus the real
Like
history.
a history of the company.
What are some other examples of this? Of companies opening museums for themselves that they're operating themselves? Like
Studio Ghibli Museum.
we've not heard about a true museum partner, like the museum of whatever is partnered with Nintendo to make this. It's like they're just doing it themselves, right?
The Ghibli Museum is done very well.
Right. Okay.
So if they can take that model, or the Disney Museum, the Disney Family Museum is done very well.
That's not a Disney thing. The one here, that's a little bit different.
I hope that they have some sort of like help with this though.
That's where I'm getting
They
this
need like
feeling.
a curator.
I don't.
and an
I don't.
archivist.
We haven't heard enough
Yeah.
about who is doing that. Maybe there will be some
Maybe there is a curator. We
Nintendo
don't know.
Museum Direct coming soon, and
Yeah.
we'll hear all about this.
Right.
I would love that.
Who's
but-
your expert that's helping you put together these exhibits?
Right. Just having been there for as long as we were and seeing the outlook on history.
Yeah.
Again, I think they may need the tough love
Mm-hmm.
with some of these initial feedback on it. That said, I absolutely still want to go
You're
to.
still gonna go. I do agree with you that it might be skewing towards it feeling like a commercial for Nintendo. That's like such a good
Yeah.
point because I think the way that they think about their history is how can we use this to
Sell a product.
Sell a product,
Right.
exactly, and like sell things that we currently have in the market. So I do. Now that you've said it out loud, like I'm getting a bad feeling in my stomach. Like, oh no, they're going to be focused more so on that
Right.
than really
And
like digging into their archives and celebrating their actual.
Again, I said
history.
mixed reviews. I'm not saying it's going to suck.
No,
But I think
yeah.
in terms of living up to the potential of what it could be,
Yeah, that might be a little bit.
it's going to take them a while to get.
Time.
I think they will eventually get there, but I think maybe out of the gate they're going to be a little scared or conservative about going all the way.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
My first one is that we don't get any updates on the next Mario movie
Hmm.
in 2024. We get nothing.
So that would include an announcement.
Right.
Right.
Anything. Nothing.
Yeah,
Just radio silence. I think not enough time has passed at all. They're gonna want to like wait out the entire year before they give us any sort of info on a potential sequel to that movie.
Okay. I didn't have any predictions about a Mario movie, but I'm trying to think through this now. Sometimes you do see sequels getting like greenlit kind of immediately after that they confirm that the first one is a hit.
Yeah.
We're far enough now past that where that could have already happened.
Yeah. I just don't think it's going to
I
happen.
don't know. I mean, if it's just like a one-liner, like, yeah, it's confirmed, it's happening. Maybe that could happen. I don't know. I don't think we get any like significant look at it.
No
But
updates.
okay, all right. We'll leave.
Yeah.
That's your prediction. We'll leave it at that. Mine is about the Zelda movie,
I have one too about the Zelda movie.
which is that we will not get a substantial update.
I said that exact same thing.
And what does this mean?
I don't think we confirm any
Cast.
we don't confirm cast. We don't see visuals. We see nothing.
Right. It does seem like this director and other people they
chatty.
like to get out there and talk. That's not what this is.
No.
No. Like an official announcement
like the
of
Mario
some-
movie directs that we got.
Right.
Like we're not getting that.
No.
This year.
There may be some loose chatter about it,
Yeah.
but no.
But I don't think we're not getting any sort of confirmation on like what this movie looks like, who's in the cast, like, details like
Right.
from Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is probably farther away than most people.
Oh, it's
Many
way far.
people may be thinking.
It's way far away. Way far away.
I agree, even though there's been this 10-year ramp up with Avi Arad, like I still think there's a lot to do.
Like 5-6 years away.
And
we're not seeing this
let,
for
let's.
a long time.
I don't think anybody should hold their breath for that.
Yeah, we're not seeing this for a long time.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
a long time. My last one here is about the Super Nintendo World stuff.
Oh.
So I do think that once this Donkey Kong ride opens up, like they're gonna stop with
That's it.
any updates for this current iteration of Super Nintendo World. Like they're
What
just
does that
gonna-
mean?
They're gonna like just not build any more new attractions.
Ever?
They're not not this year.
I don't understand.
They're not gonna have any more like significant updates on like what is the future of this park. They're just gonna let it ride for a little bit, I think.
So not that they're stopping, but they're just taking a little break to let
A
it
break.
be.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is sort of the last thing in this like initial opening of this.
The way
Super
you're
Nintendo
wording this is
World.
confusing me.
What do you mean? Like they had this like ramp up to open Super Nintendo World. They like first opened in Japan, and then they
Yeah.
opened the ones in the U.S.,
Yeah.
and then they had the Donkey Kong stuff open. Like so, they had sort of had this like every 6 months, 8 months or so, there would be like a new update
Right.
to this. I think those are going to be like they finish. Basically, they're like have completed Super Nintendo World. Like it's done.
For now?
Yeah, they might
forever.
think about like something bigger down the line, but like I think this is what it looks like now.
Okay.
This is what it is. Like you're not getting new rides, you're not going to get any more new updates here. This is it.
All right. I'm still a little unclear on what exactly you're saying, but I think for this year, I think that's a fair.
Yeah.
No
they're
big
just
up.
done.
No new updates.
Yeah.
For this year.
They're done with Super Nintendo
All right,
World.
fine. I guess this is actually more than just a non-game / entertainment. Remember Nintendo making mobile games?
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Shutting it down?
I do think they have to do something with mobile games this
Shutting
year.
it down?
I think a new Nintendo mobile game will be announced.
Oh, you think
this
they're not
year.
shutting it down? Okay.
Well, I think they have enough that is kind of running on autopilot that is making enough money for them
Yeah.
to keep it going. But it is kind of at this weird inflection point where it's like, what are you actually doing with this?
Exactly. There's teams there that support it.
Either put a little bit more effort into it
Or shut it down.
or call it quits. But so
Exactly.
I don't think they're
They
at the
probably
point where
can't
they can call it
They
quits.
can't call it quits right
So
now. I'm
I
just
think
totally
that they
kidding.
are back with a new game. I don't know what it is. I'm not predicting what it is. But it's been a long time. I think the last one was Pikmin Bloom, which is like whatever. But I think they've talked about more investments with partners who can help in the world of mobile.
Okay.
It felt like a bigger opportunity when they started this. I still think it could be a good opportunity for them.
Yeah.
But they just have not seemed very
They haven't
interested in this yet.
And they just haven't had like anything hit. Even when they put big IPs.
Even Mario Kart was not
Mario
as
Kart,
big of a hit as you might have thought.
exactly. Animal Crossing, like I think it must be discouraging because they
Yeah.
did put their biggest IP on mobile. They even had trotted out Mr. Miyamoto to do all the Mario
Right.
Run stuff, but none of it has really been sticky. None
Right.
of it has hit. So yeah, I do wonder what their thinking is in terms of the future of mobile games. Is it like we're just gonna super reduce the teams and just have it run on whatever
Right.
autopilot.
It feels like a very un-Nintendo thing to do.
But that's what I was going to say. It does not
So
feel
it's like
very
either let's
Nintendo
make
to
this
do
big
that.
or let's stop doing it. I think
Yeah.
maybe they give it one more shot.
They maybe give it one more shot.
Right.
But with what game, who knows?
Who knows? That's
'Cause
their, that's their problem.
They did put their biggest IP on mobile, and none of it like really
Right.
took off, honestly.
Right.
So unfortunately, that's the thing. Yeah.
Are we done with Nintendo?
I'm done with
Now,
Nintendo.
1 hour into this podcast, we're
Oh
done
my
with that.
gosh. We have to talk about some other people here.
Okay.
Let's talk about Xbox. I only have one thing.
No, so PlayStation was
Oh,
next.
I'm sorry. Let's talk about PlayStation. I have a few things for PlayStation.
I have only one.
I have 5.
How many predictions did you have?
More than 24.
You had 24 for yourself. Okay, got it.
I think the God of War trilogy remastered is coming out this year.
The first 3.
The first 3,
Okay.
yeah. That seems like something that has been rumored.
Okay.
I can see that being like in the age of remasters. This is a game that's ready.
Yeah.
I would play this again. So
I'll play the first 2 again. I don't know about the third.
the third one's not bad. I just didn't like the climbing, huh? Climbing around, you didn't like that.
The third got a little out there.
A little out there. Okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah, I think that this is something that they will do also to sort of keep this franchise like top of mind, because there probably isn't another big, huge God of War thing.
Gonna be a while
in 2024, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you go through more of yours since you have so many of
Okay,
these?
I do have this Elden Ring DLC. This is leaked though, so I think that
What happened?
The rumors say that the new Elden Ring DLC is coming out in February,
When did that get leaked?
just a few days ago.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yes.
Is what the DLC
In
is
February?
called. I think February.
Well, is it really a prediction if you're just
I'm just
regurgitating leaks?
regurgitating this leak.
Get out of here with this.
No, but I do
Next.
want this to come out.
Next.
There is no PS5 Pro in 2024.
Oh, here's where we differ.
You think there is one?
That is
I
my
don't
one
think so.
prediction.
I don't think there is one.
Now again, does it make sense for them to release a PS5 Pro? No.
No.
Are people clamoring for this?
Yes.
No.
I mean,
no.
no.
Are we running up again? Are developers saying we need more power?
No.
No. But I think there's 2 factors at play here.
Nervous about Switch 2?
I think Sony can be at times impatient, an impatient company. And I think they look at this generation of like, gosh, we got kind of screwed launching in the pandemic. We had all these stock issues, the supply issues, and things are going good now. But we could really like kickstart this thing if we had something else.
No,
That's one.
Don't do it, Sony.
That's one.
Don't do it.
2, I do think they're a little spooked by what Microsoft is doing.
Really?
In terms of all the acquisitions. We know this. This came out with all the, Activision stuff.
All right.
And
How
Talking-
spooked?
I think they're spooked enough to put this out and try and get ahead of some counter move that Xbox. I mean, there were in those leaks from the courts. They were talking about next Xbox hardware,
Yeah.
and I think the fact that they are slowly snaking around the traditional console business
Yeah.
is getting them a little spooked.
Okay.
So they're like, we need to get going on all this stuff because I kind of have a feeling that this might be a shorter generation
For PlayStation
because
5?
of all this stuff. This is just a weird generation for Xbox and Sony, starting with launching in the pandemic
Yeah.
and where we are now.
Okay.
I think they are going to feel compelled to do something maybe earlier than they otherwise would have. And again, this is not something a lot of people are asking for. I think it would probably still sell fine. Maybe they're like, let's just get it out early and be ready for that and have an explosive holiday season and we just rock it off from there. I don't know. It's just a feeling I have.
Okay.
Knowing that they can be impatient.
Okay. That's fair.
At times.
That's fair. I
That's
disagree.
my feeling.
But
That's fine.
I think that's fine. This is where we can
It's fine.
come to head at the end of the year.
I mean, again, I don't think it's the best move for them,
No.
but I think it'll happen.
I just think that they maybe will take a more measured approach because they had like a pretty decent year, and they probably think they can ride it out another year. at
Okay.
least.
Phil Spencer's in their heads.
Oh no!
I don't
But he's
know.
so sweet and nice. He got in their heads? Play mind games?
It's not Jim Ryan's problem anymore.
Oh no, it's Jim
No.
Ryan is long gone. See ya. No, I have another 2 more.
For PlayStation? Why do you have so many?
I don't know, this is going.
Okay.
I don't think we see any Wolverine updates at all from Insomniac.
Now
What?
these are not predictions.
Yes, they
This is
are.
you reading news.
No, it isn't.
Right, next.
Next is Naughty Dog announces a new narrative-driven single-player IP.
New IP.
Yeah, new narrative-driven single-player IP.
Okay.
That's why they came out with that statement that we're not doing this Last of Us multiplayer anymore because they're ready to announce something else. For PlayStation. It's going to be like the next thing.
I
It could be Game of the Year.
don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that. So it could be announced and out this year?
Probably not, actually. Yeah, probably not.
I feel like they have one more Last of Us in them.
No more Last
Well,
of
I mean,
Us.
this is, again, is this what you want or what you think will happen?
I think this is what I think will happen. I think they have a new IP.
I think now that like the Last of Us TV show was such a huge hit, they're like, yeah, there's something really big here, and we're not done
You think so?
going through all the stories we can tell or things we can do with this IP. I think they find another way to give it another go. I mean, I would love for that to be true, but I think business-wise, I don't think it makes sense business-wise to say like, yeah, this thing became a hit and now we're moving on.
Yeah, but they have so many things from
if that's how they're
series
thinking.
already. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay.
Did you watch the show over the break like you said you would?
No. I was too scared, and I don't want to.
Apparently, you did nothing over the break.
I did nothing.
You
It was
did nothing. Great.
I really enjoyed my time doing nothing. It's fantastic.
Is that all of your news headlines for PlayStation that
Yes.
you've been reading? Great.
No, these are predictions.
Xbox. I have two more.
I have one for Xbox.
All right. I will do one, and then
It's
you can
really
go,
boring.
and then I'll go.
Yeah.
Xbox will achieve their goal of releasing
I
a
have that.
significant first-party game every quarter this year.
Microsoft has a solid year. 6 to their schedule of one big game every quarter.
Okay.
Okay, great.
I think they can finally do it.
I think they can do it.
They have all these studios now who've been working on
who
things
are
for a long
work for
time.
them.
I think they can finally do it.
Yes.
I mean, are these all smash hits? Probably not. But at this point, they just need to have a steady stream of releases and really support the hardware more from a first-party perspective.
Yeah.
So, they did end last year with a good little bit of momentum. So I think they carry that over into this year and have some games.
So.
They have some games.
Yeah, I think they're going to do good this year because they have spent all last year just like trying to get all this stuff done, like officially, contracted and everything. And that was a big thing and it was annoying and painful. And now I think that they're all set up. So hopefully that this leads to a really great year for them. I'm rooting for Microsoft.
That was your one Xbox prediction?
Yeah.
I have one more.
So boring.
And this is the last one of the whole
shebang?
24 of them.
It's been like 85.
Xbox will be active in announcing new projects based on Activision IP.
Oh. ...
Perhaps earlier than they should be.
Uh-oh.
I think they have just kind of the shiny object syndrome of like, hey, we got this cool new thing. There's a lot we can do. And we're so excited about it. We're going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
But maybe
Where's Diablo?
Maybe it's 4 years away.
Put that on Game Pass.
I think there've already been some, like when Phil's gotten out there and talked about it, he seems really excited. Like, we've got this great portfolio of IP and we can
chomping at the
and
bit
we can mix and match developers with those IP and like Activision people can work on Xbox IP and vice versa. He seems really excited, which is great.
That's awesome.
And I think there's a lot of possibilities, but I mean, realistically, any of these projects are years and years and years away, but we might hear about some this year.
Yeah.
Should
I'm
we?
excited.
Should we? Maybe not.
Maybe not, but I still want to know what's going on. I like to know.
Right.
I want to know.
So again, many of these predictions are separating what we want to happen versus what we think, or should happen versus what we think will happen.
It is harder for me because there's a lot of things that I want to happen that I think people are not going to do.
And I think he also is under some pressure to like, hey, we spent all this money
and time
and went through a lot of pain as a company to get this happening. What are you doing, Phil?
Exactly.
So he's like, oh,
he's got his feet to the fire for sure. Like we finally figured this out for you.
Right.
Like now we better get going and make something happen.
Exactly.
So I feel that pressure and I think he's up to it.
Right.
And I think he's excited about it, which I think it's good.
Right.
Okay, we have to put the locks down.
Now, yes. So we did not mention this at the top. We are going to pick a lock.
Uh-huh.
One of our predictions that we feel so great. If you pick something that leaked, I am not going to let that pass. And we are feeling so sure that this is going to happen this year that we are assigning some sort of punishment to ourselves.
Yes.
If it doesn't.
TBD on the punishment. You can suggest
It's TBD?
Well, okay. What's the punishment? What would you like the punishment to be? Yeah, I didn't come up with one. So.
Another pie in the face?
Another pie? Okay, that's fine.
All right, pie in the face if your prediction is not correct.
Okay.
Well, why don't you go first?
My lock is that the launch title for Nintendo Switch 2 is Mario Kart 9.
Okay.
Lock it in, baby. Lock it in.
I chose 3.
Oh. But do all 3?
So let me read you. Let me read. I need to pick
one. You
one.
have to pick one, yeah.
No, I don't want to take 3 pies in the face.
You get a pie in the face.
We're being wrong, no. Could very well happen. So I have Switch 2 will release before the start of the holiday season.
Okay.
That's one. Nintendo Museum will open to mixed reviews. Kind of hard to quantify that one.
That one is not good. Take that one out.
We will not get a substantial update on the Zelda movie.
That's boring.
Why is that boring?
Yours is Switch 2 will come out before the start of the holiday season. That's yours.
I was leaning Zelda movie.
No,
but
that's too easy. Obviously,
okay,
we're not
fine,
getting an
fine.
update.
Switch 2 will release before the start of the holiday season.
Yeah, you have to do that one. And
Fine.
I will do Mario Kart 9 as the launch title for Switch 2.
Fine, all right.
Because we do think Switch 2 is releasing this year. Yes?
All right.
Can't wait to pie it in the face.
Good.
It's great when it releases in the summer. Oh, wait,
No, before the
never
start
mind.
of September.
Yeah,
Before
okay.
September 1st.
Then I can't pie you.
All right, lock it
Darn.
in.
Lock it
in.
in. Chun-chun.
Lock them in.
We're locking it
Lock
in.
and
All right,
key.
all right.
We
Lock
did
and key.
ask our good folks over on Patreon if they had any predictions to share. People had some interesting stuff. Badman Ryzen said, I do not think we're going to get an all-new Switch successor, but rather the Switch will just get updated hardware specs. No new controllers, no new physical add-ons, no new online ecosystem. Everything stays the same, but updated hardware. I think Nintendo has noticed the line between console generations has started to blur and will just continue to upgrade the already popular Switch. I think the reason the wait has been so long is that the jump between old and new would be noticeable by the everyday consumer. So this is basically the iPhone model,
iPhone model, yes.
where we just kind of have rolling updates.
I could see that. It's very reasonable.
Gartooth says, I predict that the first Nintendo Direct of the year will happen 2 weeks from now,
Whoa!
between the 16th and the 18th. So specific, Gartooth.
Can I pie you, Gartooth, if you're wrong? Just kidding.
Mail you a pie if you can do it yourself.
You do yourself.
And finally, Colin McIsaac says, a new remake is announced entitled Earthbound: Mother 3.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Oh, Colin. Sweet
I
child.
did spend some time thinking about this.
Sweet child.
So there was obviously some content in Earthbound that made it hard to release it outside of Japan. If you remake that game, do you have more opportunities to just cut that content and actually put this game out?
But, like, who are the people that really do want this? And
Well,
how
that's the
big is
thing.
that audience?
That's the
we
thing.
know that it's a vocal minority.
Is it worth the effort to do all of this
Not.
for this game that is now just a meme?
It's a meme.
I mean, by all accounts, this is a great game.
Yeah.
But
I think
what is
so.
what is the actual
But
audience for this game? I don't know.
Who's the audience?
I
That's
don't know.
not like the 10 people that, you know.
There are people at Nintendo who have power and influence who are, I'm sure, in somebody's ear
Oh,
in
yeah.
Japan. Like, hey, we should do this. We should
But
do
they
this.
have always gotten the
Sometimes
brush
they
off.
get slapped away.
They've been slapped away for many years now
Right.
on this.
So I don't know. That one made me think a little bit.
I think that
Like,
person.
huh.
I think people's power.
Colin McIsaac, you're a sharp
really-
fella. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. It is almost time for the games we're playing. In this case, the games I've been playing.
Games you've been playing, yeah.
But we have to shout out our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. Love HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Sounds like some New Year's resolutions may be a brewing.
Yes. Well, this is the time of year where I do not feel like cooking at all because I have been cooking so much over the holidays and you know, have so many like dinner parties and people over and I'm tired. I'm tired of cooking. I just want the easy, quick solution. It is so breezy. It is so easy. You get pre-proportioned, farm-fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. You can put together meals. They even have like the quick and
15
convenient-
minutes.
15
Yes.
minutes. That's like the maximum amount of time I want to spend in the kitchen right now. So it's perfect. Yeah, I have my box all ready to go for, you know, the start of the year, and now I'm very relaxed and I can make my delicious HelloFresh meals very conveniently.
Right, and now they also offer breakfast, and they have this great offer here about getting breakfast items included for free. So again, there's a lot of things there that could be part of a New Year's resolution.
That's true.
Eat better, eat out less.
Yep.
eat breakfast, the most important meal of the day, so on, whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to hellofresh.com/KitKrystaFree and use code KitKrystaFree for free breakfast for life.
Woo.
One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at hellofresh.com/KitKrystaFree with code KitKrystaFree. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
We'll put the link right over here and also in the description below.
So you really played nothing?
I really did.
Wow.
I've only played Disney Dreamlight Valley this whole break.
Okay. Anything new afoot there?
I have redecorated my village once again because now it's no longer Christmas. I have basically taken down the very Christmas decorations and put in just the winter stuff, which is really nice. But this is like my new Animal Crossing, honestly. Like I am just playing this game like every single day for like an hour while I relax and watch like trash TV, and it's the perfect way to hang out and just veg out. Really, is what it is. So I've been really enjoying that. I think that my next game that I'm going to play is Assassin's Creed Mirage, though. I am in a Ubisoft mindset.
In the 10 days before this Prince of Persia comes out, you're going to get through that?
I think I'm going to get through it in 10 days. I think it's possible.
Better get started.
I don't think this game is very long, first of all.
I don't know.
So I think that is what my plan is now that I'm kind of back from all the holiday travel, and I'm ready to move on to something. And I'm thinking about Prince of Persia, and I've been wanting to play and at least check out this new Assassin's Creed game. So
okay,
that's my next move.
I will start with an update on Cyberpunk. Last week I mentioned I restarted the game with a fresh character. I am now at the Phantom Liberty DLC.
Ooh.
I made it there. It took me about 10 hours to get to this point, so I'd say about halfway through the main story of the game. So it's not a crazy effort to get to it. This game is not very long if you stick to the main
it's really not.
story. And this is a really interesting DLC so far. I'm not done with it because I found out that it's quite substantial and long. It's about 10 to 15-ish hours itself. So I mean, that's getting close to like more than half of how long the original base game was. So that's great, because this is not cheap. This is $30 DLC. I thought about buying Cyberpunk on my Steam Deck because it's been on sale, and like Baldur's Gate, it also has the cross-save.
Yeah.
But you would need to buy the game and the DLC on both platforms. I'm like, this is too much for something I may not use that much. So I didn't do that. But
Idris Elba?
I got to Idris Elba. It took me a while to get to him, actually. I thought it would be like, boom, here he is, but no.
Yeah.
So the story of this is you're in this new area called Dogtown, which is kind of like sectioned off from the rest of Night City. It's like kind of like a city within a city.
Yeah.
And the president, you get contacted by one of the president's agents who's like, hey, the president is coming in on a flight from outer space, and something has happened, and we're about to crash into Dogtown. And we need you to help extract the president, get her out safely. So the craft crashes, you have to bail her out. Very action-heavy segment so far.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of a break, and she tells you, like, all right, I need you to contact... She has, like, basically, like, a personal secret agent.
And that's Idris Elba?
Who is Idris Elba?
Oh my God, that's so
cool. It's
like,
I need you to help me contact him, and he's going to help us fully get out of here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am with that. I just met him.
Cool.
He seems very cool. What are those movies that I think Gerard Butler was in, where it's like, Air Force One got hijacked, oh no. Or, this kind of has a feel of those movies.
It's like 90s action movies. It's like a Harrison Ford movie.
Right. It's not like cheesy or anything, but this definitely has like futuristic summer blockbuster kind of written all over it. Of like, you gotta evac the president.
The president is crash landed in like a crazy place. Yeah.
Right. So I'm enjoying that so far. It has been very action heavy so far. There was a funny thing that I was telling you about where kind of when this starts, something happens and Keanu Reeves gets like booted.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny because I was like, oh yeah, they couldn't, afford him or they couldn't schedule him to come in and do lines for the DLC. He's back.
They could afford him.
They got him back.
That's why you had to buy it on both Steam Deck and PS5.
He came back. So now I have him and Idris Elba doing stuff. It's just a star-studded affair all around.
Johnny Silverhand?
Yes.
I do love Johnny. I started out really disliking him. And then I ended up really liking him. Like, I had like a moment where I was like, no, you're awesome. I like this.
His voice acting in this is a little... I don't love it.
Oh, I don't mind it.
Maybe it was just the direction he was given. I also don't love the voice acting for your main character. Maybe the girl version
The girl version
is
not bad
better.
at all. At least what I remember.
The guy version, I don't love it, honestly. But... So the first part of this was very like, go do the thing because you're getting attacked, and it felt very like linear.
Yeah,
now it's slowed down and opened up quite a bit where I can explore Dogtown more. I have side missions that I can do. So, there is a lot of content in this, and there seems to be a lot of kind of like weapons and outfits and stuff that you're getting along the way that is new. So, and then the fact that it's just so big, like it is cool that I wanted to do a full playthrough of this, but there is this big new thing that I can check out as well, and it does seem to fit pretty seamlessly into the game. So I'm having a great time with it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish this, and this game just holds up so well.
Yeah.
Obviously they've been working on it for a long time, which is why. But I am sometimes in disbelief that this game came out in 2020. First.
I know, right? And it's still like super popular, and,
Right.
and people are still talking about it a lot.
Right.
So.
Two other games that I have been very lightly dabbling in. I picked these two up on the Switch, one of the holiday sales for very cheap. The first is called Retro Bowl. Are you familiar with the game Tecmo Bowl?
Yeah, I like Tecmo Bowl.
Football game. Yeah. American football, not proper
not
football.
Footsies.
Not footy, not the beautiful game. Tecmo Bowl is kind of in the NES era, the like gold standard of football games.
Yeah.
And it was just so approachable, so pick up and play. And that was kind of the universal charm of like, we took an extremely complicated sport and made it really easy and fun and breezy to get through. And the later versions did get the licenses to have like actual players and teams, which made it all the more fun because you could pick your favorite team. So this is kind of a Tecmo Bowl inspired take in a modern game.
Oh.
Of like, we're trying to recreate that aesthetic, that easy pick up and play thing. Because there were years where Madden has become like impossible to play.
Really? I never played it.
Which is like actual, the simulation of football.
Yeah.
It is so convoluted and complicated.
People love it, but I don't know.
It is ridiculous.
I don't know how.
Most modern sports games these days are really complicated and hard to play and hard to learn. So I'm not super into those, but this is trying to be more approachable, more pick up and play, and it's got this kind of retro packaging to it. I found that I did not love this game, unfortunately.
Oh no! Didn't feel like Tecmo Bowl?
So the first thing it does, before you can even play a game, you have all these mandatory like managing the team things that you have to do.
Oh, I don't
like you need to draft players, you need to hire a new coach, blah blah blah. I'm like, this is not the pick up and play experience that I wanted. Like this is a deeper simulation. And I guess it's fine that that stuff is there if you want to do it. But it felt a bit removed from what I thought this game was going to be.
Yeah, that's a different game.
And I haven't found a way to
like
get out of this and just play some games. So that was.
So you're still doing that now?
In between every game, like there's a whole section where it's like, all right, now do this or do that, and at the end of every season, you have to do a draft, and you draft these random players. It's like, and you have to manage the salary cap and all this stuff. It's like, if I was playing Madden, like. That's what I would want to do in Madden, like really like tinker with stuff.
But you don't.
That's not what I came
here.
for.
To play Tecmo Bowl.
That's not what I came here for, right?
Yeah.
Also, this was very confusing to me. When you're actually playing the games, you do not play defense. You play offense, and then defense is kind of like simulated for you. So it's like, oh, they got to the 50-yard line, and then they punted, and now you have the ball back. You don't see any of that. You don't play any of that. It just happens.
That's weird.
Very weird.
Why?
Especially since you might be drafting players who play defense. It seems like that does not matter at all. That is half of the game that you are not playing.
That's weird.
So, and I was like, am I missing something? Is this like in a tutorial later? Is there some option I need to turn this on? It's just not in the game. I don't know why they did that. Very strange to me. So
that's very strange.
I will go back to playing Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, that's so weird. Why would they do that?
Yes. Tecmo Bowl is on NSO. I'll go back to playing that.
Oh, all right.
So, a little bit sad on that. The next one I was excited to check out, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
Yooka-Laylee. I haven't.
A lot of people. So, there are a couple Yooka-Laylee games. The first was a these are kind of like retro-inspired platformers made by people who had great pedigrees making those on like the N64. The first one was a 3D platformer and didn't get the greatest reviews, so I opted not to get that. But this is a 2D platformer, so a different take with the same characters. And what is the main character's like a
It's like a
chameleon-y?
I was gonna say like a lizard or some
lizardy
sort?
chameleon.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is, but this game feels very much like the Retro Studios Donkey Kong
Okay.
Country games,
Yeah.
where it's you and you have a companion, and your main attack is to do a roll attack.
Yeah. Okay.
When you jump on the enemies, they make
That
a
like
si-
poppy sound.
Exactly. And it has the same kind of weight and momentum that the Donkey Kong characters have
Yeah.
in those games. Something about it did not feel to the same degree of polish or tightness. There was something that felt a bit sluggish about it all.
Oh.
But I could tell that there were some good things happening in it. So I've admittedly not played that much of this. I want to keep going, but there's just so few, great 2D platformers to play these days.
Yeah. It's like when you
And-
do find when it's like
If this sale is still going, this game is incredible. This game was like $3 versus like $30.
it's like a Suika game price.
I was like, I gotta check this out at this price because I have heard some really good things about it.
Yeah.
I've heard people say like, yeah, this is like at that level. So maybe once I keep going with it, I will
Yeah.
discover more of how it got to be that way. I would say right now it's kind of a notch below.
But still fun, right?
At $3, absolutely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, not a game.
Not a game.
But
Did you watch this?
I did start watching Pokemon Concierge,
On Netflix,
which is
yeah?
the new show on Netflix that was announced, I think, last Pokemon Day.
People say it's great.
This is this is stop motion animation.
Right.
The story is like this lady is kind of like burnt out on everyday life, so she goes to work on this Pokemon resort, which is on this tropical island. It's on the
That's
beach
nice.
where Pokemon come to stay.
That's nice.
And it's an extremely like light and breezy
Yeah.
thing. And it's
They're like very short episodes, like
it's a-
20 minutes long, right?
so that was something that surprised me.
They're long.
There are 4 episodes, and they are at most 20 minutes long.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not.
This is one of those shows that has 5 minutes of credits. So I'm like, oh, the episode's 20 minutes, but the episode's actually 15 minutes because you have 5 minutes of credits.
It's like very light.
Maybe expected more than
Well, you know how long it takes to
under
make stop
an
motion?
hour of content, but it's fine for what it is. It's very light, very breezy, very
If there's
feel
only
good.
4 episodes, period?
Yes.
Oh,
Let me be clear. There are 4 episodes, some of which are like 10 minutes long.
YouTube?
So it's cool for what it is.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing. It's a good thing to watch maybe before bed to kind of
I think
wind
that's
down.
the whole point of it, right? It's like
The animation is
cozy.
really well done.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to look at. All the Pokemon look great. I have not seen a Machamp yet, though, so
Did you see a Snorlax?
I might ding it for that. I watched the first 3. I have 1 more to go. I was getting sleepy watching it, so I had to go to bed, and so it was doing its job there. I've not seen a Machamp yet. If the Machamp is not in the finale, I'm docking at a point in my fictional review. So, but yeah, I mean, this if you have a Netflix subscription, you might as well check it out. It's very fun
short,
and
yeah.
cute. I'd love for them to keep doing little fun
Yeah.
little things like this. Not everything has to be like the blockbuster movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, it's good to have
but
variety.
I would love to see a behind the scenes of how they actually
Like, did the stop
made
motion?
it because it is.
I'm sure it's
very beautiful.
I'm sure it's very time consuming and very
Oh, yeah.
labor intensive,
Right.
which is why they probably only have like content enough for this limited, 4 episodes, 20 minutes each kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it is tough.
So as for me, I'm gonna keep going with Cyberpunk, and I do want the next kind of big game I play to be Prince of Persia.
me
So
too.
I will keep playing that and keep dabbling with other stuff until then. But it's not far, so we don't.
Yeah.
And then we're in it.
Oh, we're in it again?
And we got Like a Dragon. We got all this other stuff.
We're in it.
So I'm
Oh,
I'm
Like a
enjoying
Dragon
kind
looks
of
so good.
the down period a little
So
bit. But I think
exciting.
I'll have no problem wrapping all this stuff up. But
Wow, we made it through.
Yes.
We did.
The news about the news this week is that there is no news.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, so we actually don't have a news segment this week.
Yeah.
There were a few things that happened, like Bobby Kotick had his last day. We knew that was going to happen. Whatever. There was this interview with Miyamoto in The Guardian, which some people were talking about. I went and read that whole thing.
You said it was boring.
It was a little insubstantial.
Fluff piece?
Like there was a question about him retiring.
He said no,
where he was
obviously.
just like, yeah, it's on my mind, but I'm not doing it.
There was like some weird headlines like I think about death more than retiring.
There was,
oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I mean it was
I rolled my eyes.
It was a fine read, but I think it was meant for a very mainstream audience who is not like living and breathing every video game
games, yeah.
update.
There also was an interview. It's in Japanese. I haven't looked at the translation, but I guess he did. Miyamoto did like a interview with Itoi.
Oh.
Don't know about what.
About this Mother 3 remake?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's going to remake it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He brought the contract with him.
It was in Japanese, so I didn't know what it said. But the two of them got together.
Great
so
update.
That was something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's the news.
That's the news, guys.
Again, timestamp, January 2nd.
9:40
I would hold up a
a.m.
newspaper if I had one, but I don't. We don't read newspapers.
We're not, like, it's not the 1930s, jeez.
So we're into our questions from our community. We get these each and every week from our Patreon subscribers. First, we have Kai X. Hi, Kit and Krysta. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a New Year. I am on my way back from my first trip to New York City, and I got to experience the magic of the Nintendo store. I could have wandered around there for hours, and maybe I did. Two of the shirts I got are Mario popping out of an open manhole on a street in New York City and Link in Central Park feeding pigeons. These shirts are a fantastic hybrid of tune and live photography, but they do seem a little bit more experimental or unsafe designs compared to Nintendo's normal way of reusing the same two poses on a plain background. Who would have been responsible for these designs? Were you surprised to see such bold choices in merchandise? What other hybrid designs would you like to see, not necessarily limited to New York City? Side note, the tag for the Link shirt is labeled Link in Park. Did someone successfully sneak a meme into a Nintendo product?
I love it.
These designs are really nice.
These designs are nice, but they're really old. They have been part of the...
Way to throw cold water on poor kayaks here.
No, I think they're great designs, and I think it's cool that they still allow the store to sell these, but the reason why they exist is because they were made a really, really long time ago. Like, I think, like, GameCube era.
So the store does have some exclusive merchandise.
Yeah.
And they do have an in-store designer who we came to work with. He also works on their social media.
It's great, yeah.
And I think the reason that these are a bit more out there is that they know that these are limited distribution.
To one audience in
one
New York
store. Like they're not selling these, I believe, on the Nintendo Online store.
No.
So they're not as worried about it being. I mean, that was something that we would see a lot of. You could get exceptions on things if it was very limited in scope.
Yeah, like we were just giving 10 to whatever, 50 things away to somebody at an event.
Yeah.
They were a little bit more lenient, but these are really old designs. They're from I think they're from the game.
Well, what does that have to do with it?
Well, I'm just saying they were they were a bit more liberal with approvals back then. Now in the sort of Switch era, they're very strict in terms of how the IP is used. But back in the day, they were definitely a bit more liberal in terms of how they allowed merchandise to be made.
Speaking of merchandise, the Nintendo Online store is starting to get pretty good.
You bought plates.
I bought some stuff. Now they have some things that were previously only available at the Nintendo Japan stores.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
That's nice.
So I bought a plate set and a bowl set that has this like original Mario artwork on it. I bought that. I brought it in here because I don't know what to do with it. So now we're gonna be like your grandma and have commemorative plates on display.
Should we eat something?
I don't want to eat off of these. They're too nice.
Have like a cereal?
It's too nice. No, it's for display purpose. No, we can't open that. It's for display purposes, but that's been a long-term project for them. I just want to give them some props of saying like that store is pretty good now.
They have like
it's got a lot of stuff. Some stuff that is exclusive, some stuff that's hard to find otherwise. It ships really fast. It's pretty good.
I do love like the more home items now. Like we all bought the Animal Crossing coffee cups as well. I think all of us bought that.
Right.
And that's nice to see like some more things beyond just like a T-shirt or something like that, right? So
yeah. Ale Alejandro's next. Hey, Kit and Krysta, how would you feel about a hypothetical scenario where Nintendo were to take a rotational approach to their series leads when it comes to their established franchises to get a unique take or perspective based on the director or producer? For example, Mr. Aonuma would shift over to the 3D Mario games, Mr. Fujibayashi to the Metroid series, Mr. Koizumi to the Zelda series, etc. What kind of unique spins to established IPs can you imagine based on the different pairing possibilities? And which pairings can you see being really successful if it were to ever occur?
Wow.
I've got a fun one.
That's a very interesting idea.
I would love the Fire Emblem team to make a Splatoon game.
Oh,
turn-based strategy Splatoon. Sounds so fun.
That would be cool.
Of like, again, like, yes, you can attack the other player, but you do need to do like turf war stuff also, and like that sounds so cool.
Put ink down, and you have to have the majority on the playing field.
What I have long wanted a Pokemon Go type Splatoon game where in real world you are doing like a turf war thing, but in a turn. That sounds so fun.
That does sound fun.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's always surprising to me how Nintendo is not set up like this.
Right.
Like, it's really funny how, like, they're truly, like, in their own little silos.
Yeah.
And I can see how it's, that there's something to that, you know, where you're very focused on just keeping the DNA of, like, the Zelda series very, like, pure. And you don't get, like, sort of, you know, distracted or whatever by other teams and other things that they're doing. But on the other hand, you do kind of limit kind of this creative energy, like, moving around because they're all really awesome, right?
That does not happen in development, but that does happen in Nintendo in kind of the more corporate.
Yeah.
So we would often hear like, oh, here's a new person on the communications team. They used to be in legal.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just rotating through these different departments.
That's right.
That is something that happens.
Yeah, but not on the development side.
No.
And there was even like this thing that they were doing at Nintendo where if you could do like 2 weeks in Japan, you could do like a study abroad program basically.
When was this?
And people on the legal team that went over to Japan and like lived there for 2 weeks and like.
We didn't get that option.
No, we did not get that option. But I did remember that was a thing that they were doing because they wanted to get teams to like talk more. But weirdly, it does not happen on the dev team.
No.
Mr. Fujibayashi on another series would be really interesting because he's such a creative mind in terms of like very unique gameplay mechanics. Like, I wonder what he'd be like, for example, on like the Mario Kart team. Like, also he has such a passion for cars.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think that would be really fun for him to like take have a take on that.
Yeah.
Like, I just wonder, like, I hope we're not ultra handing cars together, but that would be cool because that's like a personal hobby of his, you know. So I wonder if there's other developers. I mean, lots of them have a lot of different personal hobbies that I think seep into the games too. And I would love to see that more. But yeah, it is very funny that the development teams are kept very, very separate, you know, to a degree where they're like, have you played this other development team's game yet? They're like, no.
No, don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Right. Tay120N64 has the next question. Hey, Kit and Krysta, this image, and this is a picture of Lisa Simpson tapping a sign that says, if your game is going to take longer than 2 years to release, don't reveal it yet. This image has been making the rounds over the last week regarding games getting announced too early. This seems to be primarily in response to the Blade game announcement. However, when we compare the game industry to the film industry, often we hear about films as those projects are being shopped around. See? Your prediction? In jeopardy? And once they have been greenlit. With games, we rarely hear about a game until it is ready to be shown. For large companies, this ensures that the conversation around a game is as healthy as possible leading into release, as that first month is the most critical for a game's success. However, is this really what is best for the industry? The game industry is incredibly opaque, and I wonder if more transparency around game projects and development from inception to release wouldn't be better in the long term for everyone involved. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I do wonder. I'm obviously not familiar with the film industry, but yeah, we used to like talk about that a lot. Where you look at, like, for example, when Marvel would come to Comic-Con and basically just like show their entire, or like Disney, show their entire roadmap for like the next 5-6 plus years.
That didn't go well for them this last time.
But that's my point, is that like sometimes it doesn't go well because so many things can change in that time frame. And I think in the games industry, I think that the game industry moves faster and changes and cancellations can happen more like it's more volatile than the film industry, but maybe that's not true because I don't know the film industry. But I think that's the reason why the game industry has always been a little bit more conservative in terms of like announcing things too early, because there is like a danger of like crazy delays or things getting canceled or things changing, where it could be really confusing message to like the audience, like, you know, the person buying the game. So yeah, so I don't know if, you know, trying to do it one-to-one with the film industry is possible for games.
I generally agree with Lisa Simpson here. She's smart, but
Very smart.
the one thing that we have heard from developers of why they sometimes want to do an earlier announcement is that they need it for recruiting purposes. Like, we have these roles where we really do need people to know what they're signing up for before we can actually get those people in the way that we need it. And I don't know if there's a solution for that, but if that is the purpose of like, this is just a step that you need to take to finish your team and finish making the game, then I guess that's fine. I would probably keep it to a pretty straightforward announcement and save, you know, more details for later, because I do think we've seen so many examples of like, you know, the short ramp up can be really effective if you concentrate that information and do it strategically and do it impactfully.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is I've seen it where there's a model like the Supergiant team does a really good job with it. You have like an early access period and then you have like a release period. So if you're doing something like that because you need to collect player data or you need to collect like you're like, you know, like squashing bugs or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that could be effective too as a more modern way of announcing and releasing games. But I agree. I think a super long ramp up just opens the door for so many things to go wrong and change that you have to course correct later on. That is not worth it.
I'm very interested to see how the Hades 2 early access stuff goes, because
me too.
I don't know if we've had a game that's that high profile be in early access before, and I'm not sure. Because people might just be like, oh, Hades 2 is out, I'm going to get it. And they may not realize, like, this is still a work in progress. Yeah. Normally it's like smaller games that you haven't necessarily heard of, and they're bringing you behind the curtain as they finish it off.
Yeah, they're using the model from the first Hades game before it became like a big blockbuster. So it's like now, does that model still work now that you're in a different place?
Big?
You're in a different place?
Your last game was literally like a Game of the Year game? We'll find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you think you say this one?
Man-Dome Jock.
Man-Dome Jock, okay. Hi, Kit and Krysta. I've been working in a corporation for a bit and have started to feel the slog. Oh. Just want to do creative things that make me happy, not be a cog in the wheel. Your podcast has definitely helped me imagine alternatives for myself once I'm ready to wrap up. Did either of you consider retiring early, quote, firing, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early, while at Nintendo? Do you consider Never a Minute LLC to be that semi-retirement gig? Or do you think you'll keep going until the end of time? Thanks, and Happy New Year.
The end of time is a long time. That's so funny. We did have this one thing at Nintendo. What was it, like the early out?
Right. Nintendo early out.
Early out.
This was a Wii U thing.
This is a Wii U thing.
Where it's like, well, you know, we're not going to lay people off, but if people were thinking about retirement, we'll give them some incentive.
Yeah, and it was great.
A lot of companies do this.
It was great for Nintendo because they had such like a workforce where people had been there for like 30 plus years.
Right.
So they really did have like the audience for it.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is that like people like they basically blanket send you this email out if you're over a certain age threshold.
Right.
So like all of these people in the executive suite, like Reggie,
he just got it?
Got the email and he was like, "What the hell?"
Well. Did eventually retire.
It did eventually retire on his own terms, obviously, but I thought it was hilarious because he was like, "Yeah, I got that email." I'm like, "What, really?" So it was funny, but the idea of, I think for me, there's a difference between the idea of like retiring early and the idea of sort of leaving the corporate life.
Right.
Like I definitely, it wasn't like a long-term, it wasn't like I was planning like 5 years in advance to leave my corporate job and start a business with, you know, my best friend and business partner. But it was like this thing that happened that was the right opportunity for us. And now I can never see myself going back to corporate life, because once you do get a taste of like having that creative freedom. And there's so many challenges that comes from not having a corporate job. Like, for example, you and me, have to set up our like 401k stuff for our business this year, and that's like, I don't know how to do that. But like, you have to do all that stuff yourself now, which is really hard, and there's obviously like a lot of scary things and challenges that happen when you leave the safety net of a corporation. But I think for us so far, it's really been like worth it and the right move for us. But I do see that as a different thing than like retiring early. I have not thought about like retirement yet. I do have like dreams about moving to like Thailand and eating food all day and doing nothing, but I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet.
Yeah, I think when you retire, no matter the age, you need to have sort of a plan of like, well, what do I do? What am I doing now?
Yeah.
Because I think people get to the retirement age, and like I think my father like kind of struggled with this, where like he's like, I need something to do. Like I'm used to having this routine, this job that's occupying all my time, and now I'm just kind of like twiddling my
sitting
thumbs.
Around, yeah.
So I think the people who do best in retirement, like they know what they're going to do. Like for me, I'm going to paint these Warhammer figurines. That's what I'm going to do. So I got it all figured out.
You got to figure it out. That takes a lot of your time.
But yeah, I think no matter the age, you do need to figure that out. So I actually have a friend who is my age who recently retired.
That's right.
He was working for a big company and was in a very high position, and I guess the numbers worked out for him, where he's like, I no longer need to work. So good for him. He's a great Patreon supporter now. Thank you very much. And he's got a long way to go. He's my age, so.
But he's filling his days with things, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of things to do. So we'll see. How his mindset on that change over time. But no, we are not at a point where we can retire.
No,
we are not yet there.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
Right.
I feel like I really like doing stuff, and I like to keep busy too. Like, I don't see. I mean, I love like being on Christmas break for 5 days and vegging out.
Yeah.
But I can't see myself doing that like for years and years.
Exactly.
And years. I will need like some kind of
totally
something to keep my brain sharp, or keep myself busy. So yeah, but we absolutely do not see this as like a retirement gig or anything. It was just like the next step career wise for us.
Right.
That made sense, and we're so lucky that we get to do this.
Right. Ninja 11's next. Hi, Kit and Krysta. We know that Nuzlocke, we're back on the Nuzlocke, are frowned upon.
Ouch.
But what is Nintendo's stance on other unmodded challenge runs, like beating Mario while touching as few coins as possible, beating Pokemon without using the Pokemon Center or healing items, etc.? Challenges like these are all done with in-game mechanics and don't have implied character death, so I was wondering if the Big N had a stance on these types of self-imposed challenges.
I don't think beyond like the Nuzlocke that were a banned, horrible, don't ever mention it thing back then. Some of these other things, as long as you're not like modding the game, Nintendo doesn't really care.
They don't care.
They do, like, there are certain things that they want you to do to have, like, from their perspective is like, this is the way to play the game for you to have the most fun.
Right.
And they would love for everyone to play it like that, but I think they recognize that everybody has fun a different way and plays games a different way. So as long as you're playing within the constraints of, the game itself, like, I don't think they had an issue with any of that stuff.
Right. They probably would not like go out of their way to say like, hey, play it this way. But if for example, like one of the Nintendo brand ambassadors was doing a stream where they were playing it this way, they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
Normal people don't care about this stuff.
No. They wouldn't care.
And the Nuzlocke thing was that was something where like I do think there was maybe some misunderstandings involved in that exchange as well, but the response was so harsh it was like,
it was hard to
jeez.
It was hard to explain it. Like,
holy
continue to go down that road.
Come on, people. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, like they I don't think they have like any issue with that at all.
Yeah. Last question is from Adam at the number 9 door. First question in a while. Hey again. I was looking through games and remember that instruction manuals used to be a thing, and oh man, I missed them. Even though I haven't read a whole lot of them, they're so nice to have. Do either of you have favorite instruction manuals from back in the day? Here are 2 highlights. Pikmin size comparisons and Persona 3 having a whole fusion table. Both very cool additions. P.S. Remember the notes section? Did you ever use that?
Oh my god.
Did you?
No, I never used the
I would
notes
never
section.
write in a manual,
I can never write in it. It's like writing in a textbook.
No. What would I write in there?
Like this.
Right, what?
Secret is here, like in a Zelda manual. You were like, write like this is how you get out of this dungeon.
I would
like
not
no.
defile this beautiful.
Yeah,
manual.
I can't do it. It's like I'm too like conditioned to
Right.
not like ever write in a book
Right.
and not ever like do anything like that. I really like the instruction manuals with maps in them.
Oh.
Super Mario World had that, I think, where like you unfolded it and it was like the world map. Like I love that. I wish that I like maps. So like
Yes.
I wish that there was a more, and I know physical things aren't like a thing anymore, and I do buy my games digitally a lot, but I just wish that there was like a better way for us to like look at the map for a game. That's so nice.
Two things that I used to really like were in fighting games. They would just have the moveset for
Oh,
every
yeah,
character,
that's
so it would
important.
be easy to just flip around.
Sure.
And versus having to like go to a million menus
Yeah.
in the game and do it. And then some games, I think this is maybe something that happened a long time ago, was some games would have just like a mini strategy guide built in.
Yes.
Where it's like, let's take you through the first mission and well, we'll kind of teach you how to play.
The basics.
But it was like something out of Nintendo Power, but in the manual.
Right.
I really like that.
Those are nice too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do used to like always, look and flip through the manual and stuff like that. Like I always would.
Right.
It wasn't like I just left it in the box.
I mean, we did get to see, when manuals were a thing, like how they came to. It's a lot of work to put together
lot
a
of
manual.
work. Yeah.
I think, the bigger consideration is like it's another physical item that you need to create, and it adds to the
package.
weight, which is a big
Right.
consideration because every little additional bit of weight means it costs more
Yeah.
to ship it.
Yeah, and the other thing that happened was like, the more things you printed physically, the more likelihood it would leak.
True.
You would have to send the manual to the printer, or
Right.
like that kind of stuff. Always was like a concern. Like when we used to have to do that. It's like, okay, we're sending the manual to the printer on this
Right,
day.
right.
Like you guys might want to be prepared for like leaks or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, because you just never know.
So, yeah, this is just a sad thing that we're probably
Yeah.
never getting back. And it's amazing like how much more information you used to get going into a game versus like
Yeah.
we'll tutorialize everything.
So we
and
need like mixed reality, where like
too bad.
you put the Switch 2
Oh.
down, and you push a button, and like a virtual
There you
manual
go.
pops up,
New prediction?
and then you could like like air flip through it.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Or maybe there's like a way to download to your phone or something. I don't know. Like I do like the idea of having something, but
Yeah.
it's too bad it's not like that time and age has passed.
We did it.
Okay, we're locking in all of these predictions. That's very exciting. This is our first episode of 2024, which
It
is
is.
also very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to wrap it up here by shouting out some of our wonderful superstars and One Up Club members.
Had a
Shall
lot
we?
of people joining the Patreon. New year, new
I know, I saw so many
great
people join.
great new community to be a part of. So thank you to all of our new
Yeah.
members. And if you were on the fence, it's never been a better time.
That's true.
Never
Yeah, it
been
was
a
so
better
nice to
time.
see people that were like, this is my New Year's resolution to
Yeah.
join the community. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Okay, are you ready for superstars?
Yes.
Here we go. Aaron Hash,
Ben Eichhorn,
Maru Mayhem,
Eigenverse,
Kiss My Flapjack,
Mike Chin,
Roy Eschke,
Switching It Up _
Safazon,
VGM Life,
Link, the hero of Winds,
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly,
Thomas O'Rourke,
Kyle LaBeouf,
Roberto Nieves,
Frederick Ulf Conradson,
Andrew Uhas,
Chili.
and Bruce Dash. Woohoo!
Happy New Year to Molly.
Oh, Molly, we love you. Here is the One Up Club graduation service. Aaron Burgundy,
Ale Alejandro,
Astro Dev,
Awesome 46,
Bad Moon Horizon,
Ben GB,
Blue Yellow Gray,
Bookem Dano,
Bookishly Fab,
Brooke Obscura,
Brovac Novak,
Cameron,
Chelly Squirrel,
Christopher Lay,
Captain Alex,
Crimcat,
Sea Roper 17,
Cynical Squid,
Dachshund,
Doinko,
Dolce,
Dino Punch,
Elite Peach,
Spars 50,
Fart Pre 69,
Fairbound,
Fernie and Jess Forever,
Fox Deploy,
Garrett Hullfish,
Garth the Wolf,
Guardtooth,
G-Sun 101,
Heroic,
Iris Marin,
Jay Rando,
Jabroni Jones,
Jeffrey Hernandez,
Jerry 92602,
Jesse Hernandez,
John Responte,
Jonathan Rowe,
Jordan Collette,
Jordan Hemmerly,
Juji Fruit,
Just Cantro,
Justin Lemonger,
Tawa 2796,
Keith Kwan,
Kevin Delane,
Kilo Kibo,
Krista Roddy Kid,
Christopia Party With Me,
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie,
Cal Kretzer,
Linnell Stickman,
Lazy Cat for Coffee,
Lex,
Lit,
Macho Potato,
Nat Dog 5981,
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie,
Marky Man 64,
Mario Man 392,
Mecha Dragon 101,
Medallion 2889,
Megan,
Michael Cravens,
Mikey,
Mr. Ryan 07,
Motomania,
Mr. Andy Pong,
Mr. Beans a Dip,
MSN Poke Gamer,
Mytran,
Nasir,
Nathan Burkhart,
Ninja, oh sorry, Nick,
Ninja 11,
Panda Buns,
Pangy,
Palsy Pace,
Paul Gale Network,
Crime Factor,
Prince Charmless,
Raver,
Rain Tech,
Wraith One,
Rob Osborne,
Rocks,
Rianetta,
Sharif Jackson,
Sheer Cold Vanille,
Shinru,
Slowbro,
Snoggle,
Spicy Munchkin,
Steel Citrone,
Tales of Link,
Tay120N64,
Tech Magic,
The Turk Mamet,
Thomas Alvarez,
Three Rivers,
Tim Vacanti,
Topher Schmofer,
Totally Joed,
Travis Torline,
Trajawi,
Tugs Puppy Bear,
Tusku,
Tyler Geis,
Bezfez,
Video Game Stupid,
Viridian,
VirtualBot,
Weed Kingdom,
WG Grizzy,
What Up Khalil,
Wicked Davy,
Will Johnson,
Zoodiverse,
Zelgrab,
Zapanty.
and Zoid.
That's a lot of names.
The ranks are growing.
Thanks for growing again. Well, if you would like to join us on Patreon, we are at patreon.com/KitandKrysta. You get access to all sorts of stuff, early access to this podcast, and tons of exclusive content, and of course, get to be a part of our wonderful Discord community. It's great.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment, please. And if you are one of our great, yes?
No, nothing.
Yes?
I was early.
Audio listeners.
early.
You can also subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and a written review, if you please.
And we're on the
Please.
socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Threads.
Nice.
Okay, what do you guys think of our predictions for 2024? Do you think we're right, wrong, crazy? Do you have ones of your own? Leave it for us in the comments, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.